Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar, What's a Customer-Led Journey and Why Should I Care About It? So I'll just start off introducing ourselves. I'm Kelly, from Marketing Manager at BitBang. Simone?
I'm Simone Drei from the Optimization and Personalization team here at BitBang. Hello.
Hi, and good morning. I'm Will Lynch. I'm SVP of Product and Customer Experience here at Thunderhead.
Great, thanks guys. So thanks for joining us today, and thanks to everyone for being here. Before we start, I just want to draw your attention to the attachment section in this webinar. We have provided quite a lot of information about what we're going to talk about today, with also quite a couple of case studies, so you can access this at any time. You can also connect directly with Will and Simon, and you'll see their LinkedIn profile links also in the attachment section. So please do reach out to them for any more information or one-to-one call. Also, this is an opportunity for you to ask any questions you have during this webinar. So we have left some time at the end to address any queries that you may have during the session. We also appreciate your feedback. We obviously want to provide value to you, so please do let us know in the chat here or in the staff feedback at the end if you enjoyed it or not. It would be great to hear from you. The webinar is recorded, so it will be available on demand. If you can't stay for the whole duration today, you can access it at any time with the same link. So Simon, I'll leave you to talk about the agenda.
All right. So hello everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Simone Drei, head of the Optimization and Personalization unit here at BitBang, and these are the main points we will go through during the session of today. So first of all, we'll start with a fast introduction on who we are. We'll then move to an overview of the main topic of today, which is customer journeys, followed by a practical introduction of our partner, Thunderhead, here with us. And if we're lucky and have some extra time, we'll be available for a Q&A final exchange. But let's just start with who we are. So BitBang is a consultancy company, and for more than 15 years, we provide services to our enterprise customers, which are from several different verticals, to support them in taking data-driven business decisions. More in details, we manage tailor-made solutions through tactics like, for example, customer intelligence, modern BI, optimization and personalization, customer experience management, data-driven marketing, advanced analytics, big data marketing, and voice of customers, and much more. Our focus is to help companies on processes which involve data management, both from a strategical and operational perspective, from the very, very first data collection to the data elaboration until the final activation based, of course, on data, with the aim to achieve solid data-driven business decisions at scale. Will?
Yeah, so just a quick overview of who Thunderhead are. So we're a SaaS company, headquarters in the UK. We have offices North America, all the way down into Australia and scattered across Europe. We're recognized as the market leader in journey orchestration and journey visioning, which is very much what we're going to be talking about today. We work with many companies, all becoming customer-centric in their approach. We span all sorts of verticals, geographically as well. Very much around customer data, so very much around scale and performance. What we're doing is real-time journey orchestration. So it's built for speed and built to integrate into your existing marketing tech. And we're recognized as kind of constantly innovating in this space. So we have some great analytics tools that are very unique around understanding customer journeys. We call that our THUNDERBAY suite of tools. So yeah, very, very excited to be talking to you today.
Okay, so the session of today is going to be focused, as we were saying, on customer journeys. Recently, this topic has been kind of abused, and many are referring to this considering slightly different perimeters. So first of all, we need to make some clarifications around what we are talking about. What is a customer-led journey? As I was saying, many are trying to approach and define this discipline, but one of the answers most aligned with our point of view is the one from Forrester. If you want to properly work on journeys, you need to analyze the behaviors of your customers through each different touch point and define a strategic plan of interaction with them, considering also which are going to be the most probable next future interactions. Only in this way you will be able to deliver the best possible experience to them. To achieve this, of course, it's necessary to master the so-called capability of journey visioning, which probably some of you are already good at today, which includes the ability of collecting the right data, to be able to understand how users are interacting with your touchpoints, and maybe even apply some logics to try to optimize their paths. But this is not enough. Customer journeys change very rapidly, and once you found an interesting use case, probably it's already too late to manually do something with it. To really harness the full potential of customer journeys, it's necessary to evolve to what we call journey orchestration, which includes journey visioning, of course, but adds a good amount of automation and a better predictive management. And this is the real key to succeed. To put it in other words, this is what we see happening most of the times. Our brand has a website, maybe with a lot of traffic, let's say, and some of these visitors are even downloading our new super cool app we just released. In this way, we manage to have them inside our CRM, so our call center can set up a contextualized conversation with them and even enhance offline conversions. Well, dictating the customer journey is not just wrong, but even counterproductive. This approach we see is based on predefined steps which we would like our visitors to follow, but doesn't consider any flexibility in the model. If we insist trying to force our traffic through paths defined by us instead of listening to them and let them in control, we will end up providing basically bad journeys, which means, in concrete, bad experiences, frustration, and eventually less money for our company, simply because somebody else is doing better than us today. If this sounded somehow familiar to you, well, then it's probably time for a strategic shift. And BitBang is here to help our customers moving from this brand first perspective to a customer first approach. I know for sure you've heard this already before. We have to be customer first, put customer at the center, become customer obsessed. But what does this really mean in concrete? Well, try to think about this. For example, when you take a business decision, is it because the brand wants so, or because the customer told you? During, I don't know, your marketing initiatives, are you guessing what your customers need, or are you able to interpret their actual intent? When you are analyzing how your customers are interacting with you, is any channel a story itself, or are you considering the whole journey across all the touch points? And in this case, are you defining few journeys for everybody, or can you manage the uniqueness of each single journey in real time, at scale, with automation and machine learning as well? Yeah, wow, I know this looks like a lot of stuff, and trust me, nobody here is telling you it's super easy and out of the box. But it's necessary. This one is actually the real journey from the customer's perspective. Not linear at all, not about our logical stream. This is cross-channel, this is customer-centric. Customers are literally on a journey with your brand. For this reason, we can help you to develop the right strategy to listen to each customer, understand their intent, and interact with them in the most relevant and consistent way to help them on their journey. And by doing this, whenever and wherever your customers are interacting with your brand, you will see return on your investments. And it's not finished yet. When you are driving growth through a more valuable customer engagement, you are even reducing costs to serve, so boosting loyalty at the same time. So basically, this is what we mean by an orchestrated customer-led journey. Consistent better experiences for your customers and connected better results for your business. So to sum it up, again, mentioning Forrester, customer journeys are like the new segments. We have to look at whole journeys, not just at small segments, to be able to define who should receive what and when. Again, this process might be complex, but we can guide you through its management, providing you with best practices and expertise. But also we actually need something to help us listen to our customers, understand what's happening at scale, activate automatically at the right time, and keep on doing that again and again to apply even predictive models. It looks like we're going to need a bunch of connected platforms here, right? But what if I'm telling you you actually only need one? Will, the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Simone. Perfectly set up. So, yeah, let me introduce you to the One Engagement Hub. This is Thunderhead's core technology that allows us to listen to your customers' activities, figure out their intent, and help manage and orchestrate, especially arbitrate, decisions in real time to help drive the right customer outcomes. So let me just quickly give you a high-level overview of the kind of the three core tenets of what we do. And then I'll quickly explain how it all plumbs into your sort of marketing stack. And then we'll give you some real examples of where we've seen fantastic benefits to the business and the customers when we've delivered. So the One Engagement Hub, the three key tenets, starting at the bottom. We want to be able to listen to your customer's activity. Simone mentioned the word intent. Now this is key. It's about understanding the customer's intent. When they visit your brand, there is a purpose to that journey. They're here for a reason. Are they here to research? Are they here to buy? Are they here for help and support? So our listening is designed to be able to understand what is that customer intent. If we recognize a customer, if they sign in, if they log in, if it's somebody you know, how can we leverage that data that you hold around them to help us fully understand their reason for the journey and the context of that journey? And I'll come back to context in a short while. So we're building up this picture in real time, streaming analytics, streaming data that we're wrapping around some decisioning, intelligence against, so that we understand the customer. And then we need to take action. How can I help the customer on their journey? Instead of dictating, how can I help them achieve their goal? From their intent, I want to support them to make it easier, to make it more fruitful, to help them find the value that they're looking for, that then in turn drives value back for the brand. So they're the kind of three layers of what we do. How that works as far as driving value for the brand, we work with many brands, and many brands have different challenges. The Thunderhead platform and the One platform is designed to help really understand the customer as far as their immediate journey, but also understand where they are in the life cycle stage with their relationship with the brand. So we have many customers who are looking to drive greater acquisition. How can we support customers in their purchasing goals? How can we help with upselling and cross-selling based on the activities and interests that they've shown us? When I become a customer, we're in the whole kind of service journey. You need to understand my context. What products have I purchased? When is my contract coming to expire? What part of the experience am I in? What part of the life cycle stage? And because we understand that context, again, we're able to drive greater levels of engagement, which are highly personalized and relevant to the individual customers. And when we look at the journeys, so our analytics layer, if you're in charge of CX, you're looking at driving better outcomes for your customers. Understanding what's really happening as far as the journey flows, that allows us to do some really interesting things. It lets us look at where there's friction in the journey. And when I talk about friction, we're talking omnichannel friction. So maybe I've come to your website looking for help and support, but the content and the information I need, I can't find. Therefore, I might pick up the phone and phone your contact center. If we understand where the friction is in the journey, we're able to start to target specific use cases around, driving better experiences on that digital layer. What that means for the brand is we start to think about how we can reduce operational costs. How can we reduce the number of calls into the call center? Obviously, we don't want to get rid of all calls. Some of them are very valuable. So what we then can do is start looking at optimizing the service experience, because we can use that online knowledge to help support the call center staff. So we're trying to drive better experiences through better personalized engagements that drive greater outcomes, increasing lifetime value, and so on and so forth. So let's get into the sort of technical high-level view. What we've got here is the one platform in the middle. On the left-hand side, we have a set of listening frameworks. We have tags, SDKs, APIs that Simone and the team and us will help you to connect to your existing marketing stack. Once we've done that plumbing, what we then do is we provide like a translation layer. What we're trying to do is we bring all this data and consolidate it into a single set of omnichannel analytics. So we standardize all of the data. You're no longer having to look at your Google Web Analytics for your website or your mix panel for your app. We're bringing it all together, standardizing all of those customer events. When we do that, we can start to understand customer intent. And that gets brought into the one platform in real time. You'll see a little link there at the bottom out to data. That's our real-time connections into things like your CRM platform. Maybe you have a CDP. Where you have customer data that's static, profile data, attributes, and things like that, that gives us context. So we connect to that in real time and say, okay, we've got somebody on the website looking at a certain product. What else do we know about that customer? So we drag back in those data points. And you may have customer data in many silos. We can connect to all of those based on what we need to do. And then on the right-hand side is our decisioning and orchestration. So what we're trying to do is generate the next best conversation for that customer. What is the thing we want to say to them to help them achieve their reason for that journey today? So we have many conversations that we will work with based on the use cases you describe. And we have a layer of arbitration. We figure out, based on the real-time intent, the customer data, what's the next best conversation. And then our layer of technology that's sitting there listening is also able to deliver content. We can change the web experience, we can insert content, trigger notifications in apps, but we also connect to your outbound systems. So maybe the next best conversation isn't a real-time personalization, it's actually adding somebody to maybe a campaign that needs to be delivered by your email platform. So that's our ecosystem. Listen and understand, connect to customer data, and then be able to arbitrate all of the kind of possible conversations to figure out what's the right one for the customer in the moment. When to explain intent, and just to bring this to life, I'm just going to give you a very quick example. So listen and understanding intent. This lady up here is Jane. Jane's looking at the Axos Bank. Axos is one of our North American clients, a banking site. And Jane's looking at a certain page. Jane is doing research on the high yield savings page of Axos Bank. She's learning about the different yields available for savings. So what we do in this kind of translation layer is we have this kind of 5 key data points. We figure out the life cycle stage. Is it early, or are they part of the service journey? Where are they interacting? What's the channel and touch point? And importantly, on the bottom layer are the 2 data signals that tell us intent. What is she doing? What's the activity she's doing? She's learning. Maybe she's purchasing. Maybe she's seeking help. And what's the product she's doing that activity against? Here, she's looking at savings. And that allows us to understand intent. And we're doing this in real time for every single customer. Once we've got that intent, that enables the journey visioning. So what you're seeing here is a screenshot of our analytics layer. You're able to come into the platform and say, look, I want to see all of my customer journeys that start in an email campaign. I want to see how they reached a certain goal. Did they sign up? Did they purchase something off the back of it? You can ask very specific journeys about different segments and cohorts, and you can ask very crisp questions around specific journeys, or you can be as very broad as you like. And we have technologies and AI that layers on. So the panel on the right, I'm sorry about the smallness of the screen. We have some algorithms that help us understand the friction points. We help you understand the most common journeys. So we highlight key moments in those journey paths that may be higher friction, so maybe something I need to fix, or importantly, areas which are very beneficial. What activity, what node, what page, if you like, helped people accelerate towards that outcome, help them on their journey. So it lets your kind of analysts and CX guys really understand what's going on across different channels as they move across the different life cycle stages, which you can see at the top. Let's talk about context. You know, we talk about journeys being outside in, so customer led, that's from the outside leading their journey, and historically brands are inside out. I have a conversation that I want to talk to customers about, and it's my conversation, not theirs. So when we think about CRM data and how we do marketing historically, you know, we have all these wonderful data points about Jane. She lives in Atlanta. We know what product she has, but you'll see here, you know, we've already as a brand have decided that she's eligible for a couple of offers. We've got loans and mortgages. So typically in an outside in, so the brand-led journey, not the customer, we'd have said, hey, Jane, welcome back. Let's talk to you about personal loans. And because it's inside out and not the customer-led journey, this is wrong because we've made a presumption that Jane should be interested in loans. What the Thunderhead platform does, it allows us to bring it together, my customer journey, my journey insights, so we can now go, okay, we understand in real time that Jane's actually been showing us she's looking at savings. That's her interest and her intense research. So we can assume that actually we now understand what her customer intent is. We add to the knowledge, so we pull that in real time. And this allows us to validate what our next best action is. What are the things that the brand wants to talk about, and do they match what Jane's actually here to talk about? What's her journey? So here we say, okay, is Jane interested in loans? No, we look back at the journey insights in real time and say, actually, her intent is around savings. So we make a decision, and this is all happening in milliseconds in real time. And then we can create the right engagement, which is timely, which is relevant to Jane's journey, and is highly personalized to her. So we're pulling all this together in real time, and that allows us to be customer first, customer centric, understand intent, bring in the knowledge, and make the next best conversation. So bringing this to life, case studies. I'm going to start with BBVA, a large bank based down in Spain, operates all over Latin America. How they're using the Thunderhead platform is for real-time interaction management. RTIM, we're a leader in that. It's journey orchestration at scale, but so it's more about execution, delivering consistently. So BBVA have many offers that they need to execute across different touch points. They came to us because they wanted consistency, no matter where the customer interacted. They wanted to be able to deliver the right offer, the right message on a consistent basis. So what we've done with them is we've enabled bank tellers to be able to reference the right offer or next best conversation. If I'm on the website, I will see the same offer. Even into the ATMs, the offer that pops up on the screen, that decision is coming through Thunderhead's capabilities. We're validating who the user is and making sure we execute. And they've done that globally, and they're using us as that orchestration, decisioning, and validation layer. The beauty thing here is if I look at an offer on my app and I say, no, thank you, I'm not interested, we immediately suppress it across all of these other touch points. So if I then go onto the website and log in, you will not see the same offer because I've closed it and said, no, thank you on my app. So it's about consistency, about delivery, about real-time management. Moving on to how we start to leverage intent and help drive sort of commercial value from an acquisition. I'm going to use the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a basketball team, an NBA franchise out in North America. They came to us to understand fan engagement. We helped them understand the digital behavior of their fans. Really important to them during COVID, where games have had to be kind of played behind closed doors. And they wanted to understand the impact of, what is the fans' engagement? Who's their favorite player? You know, do they come to games? How can we use that to drive sort of commercial uplift within the audience, as well as understand and drive personalized experience? So one of the examples we kind of kicked off with them, very simple to start with, you know, understanding customers' behavior in real time. As they moved around the website, how can we start to replay some of that and use it to drive value? So here's a simple one, fan and, you know, buying a new hat or jersey. They went and added it to basket and then decided that they were going to start having a look at some game video or something like this. We were able to use that knowledge to start to highly personalize the content. So they were using Thunderhead to deliver the assets. By doing that and replaying this, we saw a 50% uplift in conversion in the digital experience. We took it a bit further. They came to us and said, okay, we have different types of fans. We have highly engaged fans. We have, you know, low engagement levels. We have fans who have been to games before. We have fans who are season ticket holders. Really important for NBA is making sure you have a full packed stadium. If you want to get the TV rights, you need to have your stadium full. So really important to drive ticket sales. So again, using the context, so what did we know about the customers and what did we know about their history? Can we change the messaging to be personalized to each and every fan to drive better ticket sales? So again, based on those different real-time segments and our listening, we were able to increase their game ticket sales by 6% just by leveraging that fan knowledge in a more sophisticated way. And finally, we realized that the fans actually had a favorite player. We could see in the behavioral data that, you know, I may have a certain favorite player. I watch their videos and their content a great deal. So we started to think about the different players as being kind of like the products and services. What is my interest in this journey? And we then started to look at that and think, okay, let's try and personalize some of the assets to see if we can drive greater engagement. So here we've got an example where there was a campaign around driving sales of a new season's jersey. The control group on the left were just the blank standard versions. And then what we did is we used the fan's favorite player and inserted the player's jersey number just to see if we could drive uplift. And this was phenomenal. And we saw a 300% uplift in merchandising sales by placing the favorite player's number into the assets dynamically for every single individual. So there's kind of some examples of how we're using intent and customer knowledge to drive engagement. Another client of ours, Honda, we work with these guys across Europe on the automotive side. They started off with a very kind of traditional model. They have a lead nurture model that they want to drive customers through key moments. They felt these key moments were really important in the experience. When somebody's looking for a car, they want them to look at the specs, they want them to try out the online configuration tool, and then they want them to go for a test drive or download a brochure, schedule a meeting with a dealer. And when we put our listening in, we saw very clearly that customers don't follow this path. So what they said is, Thunderhead, can you help us kind of make sure that the customers go through these key moments in a way that helps them? So how can you take that kind of linear journey and be dynamic to help us think about this nurture path? So what we're doing is we were understanding the customer's intent. We were listening to figure out what vehicle they liked. And then we were able to start orchestrating their journey. So no matter where they'd got to, we were always driving them towards that goal. And as they came back to the website or they passed through different stages, we were changing the content based on where they were in that nurture journey. We were able to fine tune it and optimize it based on the historical knowledge. So as we were going through, we were changing content, making it relevant, and advising the customer what the next step is. And by doing this, we increased their digital lead performance by 14%. And when we map that through to their offline sales, mapping through to the dealers, we actually picked up about 2% increase in vehicle purchases, which was absolutely phenomenal. And when we took it a little bit further, we looked at how can we take that first party knowledge, so the information we're learning about these individuals, And it's not necessarily recognized customers. This is also anonymous users we're collecting data around. If we know they're coming from a certain campaign, how can we amplify it? How can we make that campaign that they clicked on and landed on the Honda website, how can we make it work harder? So we looked at optimizing the assets and the content in the digital experience. But then we started thinking about how we can move this further forward. So how can we take that first party knowledge and then use that to drive greater engagement with outbound media? So we saw some phenomenal numbers at the bottom there, 20+% improvements in click-through rates. We saw significant increase in engagement and conversions because we were now personalizing and helping the media platforms be more relevant by giving them segment data based on the insights that we were listening to. Oh, okay, I'm running out of time. Okay, very quickly, EnBW. What we're doing here with these guys is looking at orchestration. So EnBW is a German utilities company, energy, power, electricity. We connected all of their digital touch points with their call center. Thunderhead sits in the middle where we understand their journeys. We've now got a 360-degree profile that helps us drive relevancy. So what we've done in their call center was enabled their agents to have better relevant offers based on the customer's behavior and insights. So we're driving next best action here, and we were able to help them increment their sales by just over €1.5 million on a single pilot campaign. What we're doing is sitting in the middle, understanding their digital, understanding all the customer data. We even do things like prioritize the IVR based on the customer knowledge to make sure they're getting routed to the right agent, who's then prompted with the next best action. And very quickly, Yellow is a sub-brand of EnBW. It's a kind of low-cost energy usage. It's very much about digital. They have an app, and what they do in this app is allow you to take a photo of your meter to get the latest meter reading. In Germany, the big problem is these meters are very often in the basement where there's no Wi-Fi, they can't connect. So using the Thunderhead SDK, we can do things like listen in an offline mode. So we're able to capture the data while the phone's not connected to the internet. We're grabbing those details and using Thunderhead to pass that meter reading back into their internal systems as a gateway. So when I connect back online, the Thunderhead journey data is still sitting there from when they're offline, and we're able to then fire that off and make sure the journey is completed. So that's a few use cases. I hope they were helpful. I'm going to pass back to Simone.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Will. This, of course, was just a quick overview of how Thunderhead works. But I think you managed very well to explain us the logics behind this amazing, powerful platform, and also provided us some useful examples of the results it can bring to businesses once used right. I think now it's significantly clearer why BitBang has chosen to build a strong partnership with Thunderhead. We saw the huge potential of this platform, which can provide all of these capabilities. We've seen integration within online, offline, automation, interpreting results at scale within a single solution, and the benefits it can bring, of course, to our clients to reach their goals. But since we are approaching right now the last Q&A moment of this session, let me start with this one, Will, if it's fine by you.
Yeah, sure.
In terms of adoption, based also, of course, on your experiences with real customers, which approach would you suggest to follow to ensure that all of these capabilities are correctly up and running to fully harness the potential of Thunderhead?
Yeah, great question. How I would answer this. So working with BitBang, Simone and his team, the first question we need to answer is, what is the problem I'm trying to solve? Do I as a brand have an acquisition problem? Is it a retention challenge? Do I have an operational cost? And then what we want to do is we want to work with the teams to really understand, what is the customer challenge that's causing that business problem? So once we start, once you understand where the customer challenges are, working with BitBang to understand those pain points, you can then start to think about, where should I listen? What data do I need? And how can we start to leverage the kind of intent and journey-based insights to help drive successful outcomes? So very much start with a problem, and we'll work back from there. And then Simone and his team will consult on, best strategies to address those challenges.
Great, thanks, Will. I think that's responded quite nicely to Simone's question. Let's just quickly now go into the question and answer session. If anyone does have any questions right now, then they're free to answer. Let's put on our video so everyone can see us again. Okay. Actually, there were a couple of questions that did come through during the session, so I'll read them out, and I don't know, Simone or Will, if you want to butt in, then let me know. So the first question was, how quickly can we implement this into our current structure?
So in terms of timings, time to market, let's say.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. So I think that's a little related to the previous question. Like, the answer here really depends about what is the customer need. So some projects might be, of course, more complex. Others instead can be quite straightforward, depending on which is the business need and where we have to arrive with the business goals. I don't know, maybe Will, if you want to add some experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically, a brand may start with listening to the website. I might want to add my CRM, and maybe I want to connect some of the sort of email listening and understanding journeys coming in. We've seen that 3 or 4 touch points done in 3 or 4 weeks. I've also seen highly complex implementations, such as a telco. 22 different touch points where we're listening to customer data, from mobile connections, network, to shops, to internet. We've done that in 3 months. So the platform's designed to connect to the ecosystem. So it's been purposely built to integrate and ingest data. So it's not as it's a bit of effort. Let's not lie, but it's not 6 months, 12 months project. You can get going the moment we start listening to one channel, and you can build incrementally over time. So it's all about understanding that problem. Where should we start? What data do we need? And how do we progress over time, if needed, to really understand that kind of omni-channel customer journey and their intent.
And again, the fact that each capability we've seen is made connected by the same platform, of course, makes things way easier and faster to accomplish.
Great, thank you. One more question. How does a customer journey orchestration platform differ to a CDP? Can they be used together?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely. For some reasons, CDPs and Thunderhead have some overlapping areas. Absolutely, I agree. Actually, the correct way to see the structure, the architecture here, would be that the CDP is becoming one of the channels coming into Thunderhead for how we approach it. It could be a way to have faster information coming through, because they're probably already managed somewhere similar to Thunderhead, but then some specific capabilities of this platform will add the extra last mile needed to really harness the journey orchestration and management driven by the customer. So that's how I see it. Will, if you want to give your opinion as well.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on. Depending on the type of CDP you have and why you've got one. One might be for long-term historical analytics. You might have another version or flavor that's about audience segmentation. Now, the problem with offline segmentation is, I might end up in 2 or 3 different segments. And the question you have to ask is, what is the right conversation? What segment, what audience should Will be in? Right, so we sit above that and go, okay, that arbitration, that layer of listening and understanding helps us take that CDP knowledge and help the brand deliver the right question or the right answer. So what is relevant to the customer right now in the moment? So CDP is, I call it kind of historical data. It's information that I've sucked in from lots of places. I have to aggregate it, and I look at historical events to make it an audience, and that audience might not be relevant, to the individual customers in it. So Thunderhead brings it back into relevancy. It makes that last mile check with the customer to ensure that you're delivering the right message, the right campaign. So it adds the smarts, adds the intelligence to your CDP, to your CRO tools, your campaign tools. It helps drive that extra performance of all of that marketing tech that you have, and really fires it on all cylinders. It's that customer layer of intelligence that maximizes the value of that existing infrastructure you've purchased.
Great, thanks, Will. I think we could actually talk about this for quite a long time, but
yeah.
I think we're probably going to have to close there now. Otherwise, we'll go over. But thanks, everyone, for being here. Thank you to Will and Simone for your time as well. And do connect with us. Let's put up the final slide so you can see the contact details of them both, and also obviously they've got their LinkedIn profiles. So do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So thanks very much, and have a great day.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.